Mission Impossible 2, the 2000 sequel to the hit spy franchise, is often remembered for its high-octane action sequences, slick stunts, and Tom Cruise's inexplicable obsession with motorcycles. But let's be real, this movie is a smorgasbord of cheesy antics, illogical plot twists, and enough slow-motion shots to make a sloth look like Usain Bolt. If you've ever wondered why this so-called action classic is actually a lesson in how not to make a spy movie, let's dive into the hilariously absurd world of Mission Impossible 2. The plot of Mission Impossible 2 is like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing and the rest on fire. The story kicks off with Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, being recruited by the IMF, Impossible Mission Force, not the International Monetary Fund, though both might be equally confusing, to retrieve a deadly virus called Chimera. Why Chimera? Because apparently naming your virus after a mythical creature makes it scarier. Ethan's mission, should he choose to accept it, involves teaming up with master thief Naya Nordhoff-Hall, played by Thandaway Newton, who conveniently has a romantic history with the film's villain, Sean Ambrose. Sean, played by Dougray Scott, is a rogue IMF agent who looks like he's spent more time practicing his evil smirk than actually devising his evil plan. The story then spirals into a tangled mess of double crosses, face-swapping masks, and slow-motion dubs that seem to have a contractually obligated cameo in every John Woo film. By the time the movie reaches its climax, with Ethan and Sean fighting on motorcycles like they're auditioning for a Fast and Furious spin-off, you're less concerned about the fate of the world and more impressed by how much nonsensical action they managed to cram into one movie. The characters in Mission Impossible 2 are a colorful array of stereotypes and exaggerated performances, stumbling through the plot with all the grace of a drunk elephant on roller skates. Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt is the ultimate action hero, complete with improbable stunts, a perfect haircut, and an ability to survive explosions that would make Wile E. Coyote envious. His constant smirking and endless supply of gadgets make you question if he's actually a top-notch spy or just really into James Bond cosplay. Thandaway Newton's Naya is the quintessential damsel in distress who also happens to be a master thief because why not? Her relationship with Ethan is so forced and cliché that you'll be left wondering if they're actually in love or just really bad at pretending. Her role in the plot is mostly to look scared, be kidnapped, and occasionally steal something, making you question if she's actually a skilled operative or just really good at being a plot device. Dougray Scott's Sean Ambrose is the villain who's so obviously evil that he might as well be twirling a mustache and laughing maniacally. His plan to unleash a deadly virus on the world is about as subtle as a sledgehammer, and his constant sneering and over-the-top antics make you question if he's actually a rogue agent or just really into playing the bad guy in a soap opera. The dialogue in Mission Impossible 2 is a masterclass in how to write a script that's both iconic and painfully cringeworthy, filled with lines that have become legendary for all the wrong reasons. The film's attempts at blending tension and wit are so heavy-handed that you'll be left wondering if the writers were aiming for a serious spy thriller, or just really bad at subtlety. Tom Cruise's constant stream of cheesy one-liners and dramatic declarations might be amusing if they didn't feel so forced, making you question if he's actually trying to save the world or just really into bad action movie tropes. His frequent use of phrases like, "You should have killed me when you had the chance," are more likely to induce eye rolls than applause. Thandaway Newton's attempts at delivering meaningful dialogue are undermined by the film's insistence on turning every conversation into a melodramatic soap opera, making you wonder if she's actually a master thief or just really into dramatic pauses. Her constant stream of longing looks and whispered confessions are more likely to make you cringe than care. Dougray Scott's villainous monologues are so over-the-top and cliched that you'll be left questioning if he's actually trying to intimidate Ethan Hunt or just really bad at delivering lines with a straight face. His constant sneering and melodramatic declarations are more likely to make you laugh than fear for the fate of the world. The action sequences in Mission Impossible 2 are a dizzying blend of chaotic choreography and over-the-top stunts that make you feel like you're watching a particularly violent episode of a Saturday morning cartoon. The film's various battles and chases are filled with improbable stunts and ridiculous set pieces, turning everyday objects into weapons in a way that's more baffling than exciting. The infamous motorcycle chase scene, where Ethan and Sean battle it out on speeding bikes, is supposed to be a thrilling spectacle. Instead, it feels more like a poorly rendered video game cutscene, with Ethan's improbable stunts and Sean's relentless pursuit defying the laws of physics and common sense. The constant use of slow-motion shots makes every action scene feel like it's happening in a vat of molasses, adding to the movie's already glacial pace. The final showdown on a cliffside is a mess of flashing lights and CGI that looks more like a particularly trippy screensaver than an epic battle between good and evil. The fight scenes are so filled with random explosions and improbable gadgetry that you'll be left questioning if the characters are actually fighting for their lives or just really into pyrotechnics. Special effects, a visual feast of flawed fantasies. The special effects in Mission Impossible 2 are a mix of impressive visuals and laughably bad CGI that looks like it was thrown together by a team of animators who got lost in the dark and had to finish their work on a deadline. The film's various depictions of gadgets and futuristic technology are filled with flashy effects that are meant to wow the audience but often come off as a distraction from the film's flimsy plot and wooden acting. The CGI is particularly jarring in the scenes involving the various gadgets, which look more like rejected designs from a low-budget sci-fi movie than cutting-edge spy technology. The film's reliance on special effects to tell its story often feels like a crutch, with the flashy visuals doing little to mask the film's many narrative shortcomings. Logic and plot holes, a Swiss cheese of a story. Mission Impossible 2 is a baffling parade of logical inconsistencies and plot holes that make you wonder if anyone involved in the production actually read the script. The idea that a secret government agency could recruit a master thief to help save the world from a deadly virus is absurd enough, but the film's internal logic is so inconsistent that you'll be left questioning if they're actually trying to tell a coherent story, or just really bad at spy fiction. The logistics of Ethan's mission are equally laughable. How does a secret agent manage to navigate the complexities of international espionage with all the skill of a seasoned spy, despite having no prior experience? Why does the IMF keep sending their top agent on increasingly dangerous missions without any backup? And how is it that Ethan manages to survive every improbable stunt with barely a scratch? The film's resolution is equally perplexing. The final battle with Sean Ambrose wraps up in a way that's both predictable and unsatisfying, leaving you wondering if the whole movie was just an elaborate setup for a particularly flashy fireworks display. The film's lack of any clear message or theme makes it feel more like a collection of random events than a cohesive story, leading to a conclusion that's as baffling as it is abrupt. Technology, a gaggle of gadgets and goofiness. The technology in Mission Impossible 2 is a collection of absurd gadgets and gizmos that look like they were designed by a team of sci-fi enthusiasts with a penchant for chrome and flashing lights. From the face-swapping masks, which look more like something out of a bad Halloween store than cutting-edge spy gear, to the various high-tech weapons and devices, the film's technology is so over the top that you'll be left wondering if they're actually trying to impress you or just really into novelty gadgets. The face-swapping masks, in particular, are devices that are supposed to be both terrifying and awe-inspiring, but they end up looking more like a flashy toy than a fearsome piece of technology. The idea that a single mask could allow someone to perfectly impersonate another person is absurd enough, but the film's constant use of the device makes you question if they're actually trying to build tension or just really bad at maintaining continuity. Conclusion, a spy thriller that's more laughable than lethal. In conclusion, Mission Impossible 2 is a film that's more entertaining for its unintentional humor and over-the-top antics than for any actual storytelling or character development. Its plot is a convoluted circus of cliches, its characters are a motley crew of over-the-top archetypes, and its action sequences are so exaggerated that they border on parody. While it may not be the most coherent or compelling entry in the Mission Impossible franchise, it's certainly one of the most memorable for all the wrong reasons. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Quirky Critic signing out.